I know you've been working on this rigorously, very hard, since I was here last. Well, maybe 2 or 3 of you have at least. So that last line is there to get your attention that this is kind of important, but I'm supposed to not wander around too much, am I? These are 3 sources of information. And according to Canvas, 31 of you have looked at the syllabus on the Canvas site. So I don't know about the other 6 of you. Are you going to just base it on attending class? Well, anyway, whatever. Writing instruction, or the assignment handout, 18 people have looked at that. But you've got 12 days till it's due, so you got lots of time. But don't wait until the night before, because I don't answer emails late anymore. Not that I ever did. Anyway, and then we've got the writing instruction videos. So the writing instruction part of here is going to be presented through videos. There's 5 of them up there now. I just realized I got to get another 2 up there, because one of them is about references and citations, and you might find that useful because we expect that on there. So you have to come up with a process. We're not going to give you one that says everybody has to do the same thing. You come up with your own. Some of the videos talk about existing processes that people have used before, and you can take a look at that. We have you do this proposal writing in sections. So your first section is due October 4th. C's just too nice to you. You know, Automated would still have kept it on Wednesday, but you know, she's nice to you guys. But we'll get it back to you. Now, when you submit things, put your name on it. Sometimes we get them without names on them. You'll do it on Canvas, so it'll be your name will be tied with it, but we still want your name on it. So, for the first assignment 1, you're going to talk about the need, why does anybody need this process automated? Who cares? Not who cares. Why do people care? Okay? Then market. Who cares about it? Who wants it? I don't care that we don't care the size of the market. You know, it may be 5 people, maybe millions of people. That's not important. We just want you to clearly describe that market. But we do want you to quantify it. So we want a number. Again, it could be 5, it could be 50, whatever. Then we want a process description. Now, this is not a very fancy, technical, detailed one. You will not put in a big block diagram. You can have a nice little sketch maybe, but not a big block diagram, process control diagram. So you're talking a little bit about what the process is, or what's it going to do. So what's done? What is the input to your process that's going to be adjusted, because this is a closed loop process. We measure an output, we come around and we adjust an input. So what's the input that's going to be adjusted? Turned on or off, adjusted, things like that. What is the measured output? What characteristic are you going to measure? You're measuring flow rate, temperature, something else. Speed. Might comment on a few disturbances and other factors that are important. You know, if you're using, you're not gonna do this, but cruise control. So I was gone last week, used a lot of cruise control. Got the radar on the vehicle, you know, so you don't bump into people and stuff like this. You know, what are the disturbances? Well, some slow poke in front of me, or a hill, or, you know, things like that, changing the direction. Okay. Citations and references. We want one in every one of the articles, or in everything you submit, something. One of the places you might tie it into is with your market. You might go and cite a source of where you got that number, or you might have something. We don't need a lot of them. I'll get by with one. At the end, you'll have at least two, but things like that. So, probably the thing you're all waiting for, roughly 500 to 800 words. Well written. Not a stream of consciousness. Not something that you do 5 minutes before it's due at 11:30 p.m. on October 4th. I can tell. We can tell. I've seen them. Anyway. The specifics of the formatting are again in this writing assignment handout. Gives the details. A little bit of the grading rubric approach that we're going to use, the assessment, is listed there also. And I learned this morning, I can find out if you watch the videos. Not that we're going to use that in grading. Thought about it, but I'm not going to. No, we're not going to do that. But anyway, we can tell. Any questions? Yourself the question, can this be automated? So, when you go through the door, you could ask the question, can we automate that door will open for me before I even get there? And not even have to push the button? Yeah, there's things like that. But you could do the same thing with windows. I mean, all of you would like to have the little automated thing that flashes the stoplights so that you can go green whenever you get there, like the emergency people have, but that's not it. We've had people automate coffee making, beer pouring. That one's not such a good one because it really isn't fully looped. It's just sort of one and done, but it was fascinating. Anyway, so I think I had to look at that. If you've been on an internship, was there something again that was done there with it? I don't know.
So it's fine if it's not something too complicated, like automated coffee making is fine. It doesn't have to be some big industrial process.
Absolutely not do an industrial process. You want something simple, yes. Because if it's got too many bells and whistles and stuff like this, it's going to get too complicated. We only want you to worry about one input, one measurement. If you take a process that's more complicated, simplify it and assume things to make it just simpler. So no, don't. So a number of students, a number of years ago, I had a student that came up with the idea of monitoring gasoline and diesel fuel in remote storages, and then would send a signal when the thing was changing, because maybe that wasn't the owner, that wasn't the person that was taking the stuff out. So they had to call the cell phone and say, hey, the tank is empty. So there's another question.
Yeah, you kind of addressed it, but as far as like when discussing the need market, should we be kind of looking at these processes from like a hobbyist point of view, or more from like a product design point of view? If that makes sense.
Say that last part again.
So should this be like from the point of view of like a hobbyist trying to automate something on their own time, or from the like a product design point of view? If that makes sense. Or both, is either?
Either.
Okay.
You know, if you've got a hobby and you go, you know, I have to do this soldering, I have to keep doing it all the time and all the time, I'd like to automate this, go ahead and do it. Again, a market of 2 is fine, you know. Actually, probably, but anyway, the number of the market is not the thing. Now, one of the things I pitch in the videos is using this as something that you can talk to potential employers and say, hey, you know, from class I came up with this process. You know, then if you get something that matches what they're interested in, it'll work nice. But that's not our criteria. Good questions, though. Any other ones? So I'm back. I'm gonna be around. Yes.
Is this individual or group?
This is an individual. Now you can talk to your friends, and you can write yours and draft it and say, hey friend, would you read this and edit it and mark it, you know, see how it is, and then maybe they'll let you read theirs. Because that's how you get better at it. For assignment number 2, you will be peer reviewing 2 of your classmates' submissions. So, but it's an individual thing. Okay? I'm around. Send me an email. And we'll get back to you.